All right, assisted living fans, hope everybody's doing well. I think there was somewhat of a theme for both House of Pain and assisted living where it kind of felt like we had a reduced cast, but for the most part, the episode was still enjoyable because, to be honest, I could relate to the driving situation. We're talking season 2, episode 7, entitled "Driving Miss Crazy." And just a heads up, next week, episode 8 is going to be the mid-season finale. But I can't say it enough. You know, season 2 has definitely been an improvement on the show as a whole in regards to, character development, character interactions, as well as character utilization. So off the rip, we had some notable characters, missing. We had Mr. Brown, Cora, Vinny, Sandra. Those 4 characters were missing, but on the flip side, we had Leah, Jeremy, Phillip, Reggie, Effie, and Anastasia. And I thought this was a pretty strong episode. And to be honest, I know some will disagree with me, and I know it seems like, well, Jeremy, it's kind of crazy how things have kind of changed where you seem more energetic and happy when reviewing the Viacom shows like Assisted Living and House of Pain as to how you review the haves and the have-nots. And there are many reasons for that, but I gotta give this episode a 10 out of 10. I mean, to be completely honest, I thought this did a great job of establishing a young cub getting their learner's permit versus the old lioness who has to surrender her hunter's license, if you will, because if I remember correctly, in the Lion Kingdom, that is, the females are the ones who go out and bring back the food. So it's like, when they reach a certain age, they can't go out anymore. But I thought this episode had a good message. And like I said before, over the past couple of weeks, for the most part, House of Pain especially has had a lot of PSA moments in it where it felt like this episode is teaching you the importance of this. And in this episode, it's definitely about driver safety, as well as how the young, should respect their rite of passage. Not just driving, but many areas of life are a privilege and not a right. And sometimes, especially based on your age, whether you're young or old, your quote-unquote freedoms can be challenged and taken away because either you aren't ready for something, or, not to sound cruel, but you're kind of past your prime. So before getting into the review, which won't be super long, but like I said, it was pretty good. Go ahead and hit the like button. So hit thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, because we are less than 500 people away from 180,000 subscribers. Hit the bell icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. And follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. So it's hard to say what's an A story and B story because of the fact that Phillip and Anastasia's storylines are woven so well together. And I think because we don't have the antics of Brown or, one of the other characters like Vinny going on in the background, we could really focus on the driving aspect of it. Now, you could argue that Phillip's journey to get the learner's permit is the A story, and Miss Anastasia's ability to, the unwillingness at first to not give up her license and keys is the B story. But again, I feel like they're kind of on the same level here. So overall, some insurance letters comes in, and Miss Anastasia hit a mailbox, and it suggested to her by, Leah and Jeremy that maybe she should give up her keys. But it isn't just you're giving up the keys, but they have a lot of things like rideshare. And look, let me just say, I'm about to turn 30 next month. I despise driving. I didn't get my license until I was 21, and the only reason I did it was because I was in college and I didn't want people to be like, yo man, where your license at? Because I just hate driving. Don't get me wrong. I understand when I do it, it's, that freedom aspect of it, just being on the road, especially if it's a nice day with the windows down, it's smooth. But, I think it's because I was in that college town for so long. Crazy ass drivers out there, can spook you. That's why you always got to be on your top of your game. And I haven't even driven in almost 2 months since I've been home. I haven't been home 2 months, but I think you all know when I was talking about when I was at my apartment, the last time I came home was about maybe 2 or 3 weeks before it was time for me to move. And I'm like, there's no need to bring my car because I Uber everywhere. I only need to go grocery shopping like one more time, And, I'll just work the last few days I'm at the apartment, and that's what I did. Plus, when I've been at home, I was right in my prediction because something happened. My sister's car got nicked in a parking lot. Somebody hit her. It wasn't her fault. Somebody didn't see when she was backing up. And that's been in the shop for a while, so she's had to use my car. So that was a good thing my car was here. So I haven't been driving. I've been out a few times, but I've been a rider. My mom or sister, like, hey, you want to go to Dollar General or whatever? So, yeah. But in any case, she doesn't want to give up driving. She literally pulled a Corolla DeVille. You fools! And then Philip comes up and brings up the fact that, hey, I'm 15. I want to get my learner's permit. Jeremy and Leah are rightfully nervous due to the fact that, there are a lot of dangers out on the road. And I can't even imagine being a parent, especially when you're at a certain age and you've been driving for a while and then you've seen certain things and maybe you've gotten in your own fair share of accidents, fender benders and whatnot. So it's easy to understand why you would be nervous about putting your own child out there, despite the fact that they were probably just as, if not even more excited when they were younger to get their learners and eventually licensed. But I love how Reggie, and once again, even when a character doesn't have a major role in the episode, I love how they don't just have glorified cameos. Reggie was, drinking some coffee, reading the newspaper, but he offered some great insight. The fact that sometimes, you have to let your children grow. I mean, look at it this way. You talk about how Philip isn't experienced. He really doesn't know what he's doing yet, but you two didn't know much about a living facility, and here you are running a successful living facility. And the fact that, you could help your child grow, or you can stunt their growth and then they'll be overly dependent on you. Great advice. I loved it. So then Effie actually has a good conversation with Philip about how he doesn't want to be treated like a child, but then Effie brings up, African traditions in regards to the rite of passage, the different I think there was like 5 stages of manhood, and Philip actually listened. And then the fact that it really gave, I think even Philip mentioned Wakanda Forever, and I literally thought about that because, Black Panther. Wakanda Forever! But there's a loud crash because Anastasia wrecks the car. Turns out she almost hit kids at a crosswalk, and she's so shaken over that. No lie, that's how I am on the road. Like, if anything happens, even when it's not my fault, I get shaken like, that could have been this and that. But, yeah, I've only been in like one accident because a car did not stop at a red light, and it was my turn because the light, I had the right away, the arrow was green and the sign says only turn on green, and they literally ran a red light and hit my passenger side. It wasn't like a major thing, it was like a fender bender because they literally like, I'm sorry, I didn't stop, I just kept on driving. This was back in like 2014, 2015. And then I hit that deer back in December of 2019, but I was only going 35 and the deer literally just jumped off a bank and landed on my car. So technically speaking, I didn't hit the deer landed on the hood of my car. But in any case, there have been close calls because I've been paying attention and the other driver wasn't. So to be in a situation where you almost kill people, yeah, that could literally shake you for a while. So I do like the acting in the scene and how she literally broke down how, even though this facility is nice and everything and all the people are wonderful, it feels like I'm in a prison. Here I am, I was in a prime, I was going to award shows and everything. Now I'm old and I'm living in this facility, and now I can't even drive. It's almost like my freedom is being, taken away like a bird that's been clipped of his wings. And that's a fair assumption. That sucks. But then Effie comes in and comforts her about it. And then after that experience, Philip is disappointed because his parents changed their mind about getting a learner's permit. And they bring up the facts about how, oh, you're a boy, Sandra's a girl, even though she got her learner's permit at that same age of 15 because of the fact that teenage boys are more likely to get in accidents than girls. I can't argue with the statistics, but it does make me question a few things. But, he brings up the fact that I'm a good listener because he brings up the conversation he had with Effie and the fact that, okay, fine, I'll be patient. And then they decide, well, we did make the appointment and we didn't cancel it. So We switch to the next scene. Leah's nervous. She's talking with Anastasia. Oh, the last time I was nervous about a test like this was the pregnancy test I got when I was on tour or backstage with Rick James. Okay, that was pretty funny. And then Philip comes in and he's like, oh my gosh, you're like, who knew you had to use a blinker when you needed to turn? And then he made it up because he got the permit. Celebrate good times. Come on. And then they go to the living room and F.A. has a banner up with Philip misspelled, but the thought that counts because it was a congratulations of this next rite of passage. And then, Anastasia's kind of taken aback because while one person's celebrating their rite of passage to drive, she's like, wow, I'm at the age now where there's not any first for me to look forward to. And then FA's like, no, think of it this way. You're in a new stage of life and there are some firsts for you to come, there are some firsts yet to come. And then at the end of the episode, Philip's like, hey, how about this? I need to practice to drive and, you need to get to appointments here and there. How about I be like, your driver? And then she brings up, oh, what about the hat and white gloves? You could be my personal chauffeur. This is the first time I've had a young driver. Driving Miss Daisy. No lie, I have the DVD. I was born in 91. I have never watched that movie, but I probably will now. So that was a sweet moment between the two because it's like, well, hey, I could drive. You could tell me stories and everything, and it'll be great. So I really like how everybody's interconnected. I just love how these characters are building relationships with each other. Sure, we may not see scenes of these two in the car together, but just the fact that we know they're going to bond over, Philip learning to drive and, Anastasia learning more about allowing. It's not even like Anastasia has a problem with allowing other people to help her. It's just the fact that I can understand at that age when you're seemingly losing one freedom after the next, that it's hard to move on from that. Okay, I'm old. Okay, I don't feel desirable. Okay, the least I can do is drive. But then it takes a traumatic experience for her to realize, yeah, I do need another driver. But, I thought this had a great message to it, and it was a solid episode. So like I said before, 10 out of 10. I have no complaints. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And, I just also had to give praise because I've said this a couple times already during my season 2 reviews. But I remember during season 1, and I was like, dang, give Philip something to do. Nothing against the actor. He's doing his job. But I wish they gave him something to do rather than to be background decoration so that whenever Sandra gets into something, Philip even knows to just get up and walk out because his parents want to talk with her alone. This was a good Philip episode. Enough said. So if you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App. And with that being said, I'll talk to you all in the next video.